Hello, friends and enemies. Here on this channel, I like to talk about bands all across the spectrum of goth genres, even the ones that are not my personal favorites. However, today we are getting very self-indulgent and talking about my favorite genre of all time, death rock. Yes, I know I made a post in the past on my now deleted Twitter account that apparently went semi-viral in certain circles about how it isn't death rock if it isn't from Southern California. It's just sparkling dark punk, and obviously none of these bands are from Southern California. However, that was just a joke, and I honestly think plenty of bands from all over the world fit into the dark-affected punk evolution that became death rock, and a lot of the best ones, in my opinion, come from Latin America. However, if I were to talk about every single death rock band in Latin America, this list would go on forever, and I know my viewers are accustomed to short videos, so we're narrowing it down to death rock bands with female singers, also because the ladies could always use a bit more love. Don't worry, death rock boys, I have some of you planned in my album reviews in the future. As a reminder, the order I talk about these bands is geographic. I start at the southmost country represented and make my way north. Out of these 11 bands that I will be discussing, 2 of them no longer exist, as sadly happens in the independent music sphere a lot, but I like to think that they're still worth mentioning. Before I go any further, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more content related to goth music from Latin America. We are starting off with Deje a 95 from Santiago, Chile, with the fantastic Carol Mordum on vocals. This band is self-described, aside from being death rock, as also being dark punk. Their first release came out in 2020, and their last release was in 2022, though they still do appear to be active. There's a lot of dissonance involved in their sound and some electronic effects, but this isn't quite full darkwave. But I think it can still be enjoyed by people who are more generally darkwave fans because of that. So this is not exclusively for the death rockers. Next up is Delirium Mask, also from Santiago, Chile. Perhaps I am cheating a bit here because there are dual singers in a few songs, which does include a guy, but it's mostly the woman, so it counts here. There are definitely a lot more hard rocking distorted to a point that I think some of the more hardcore punk and even metal fans might appreciate this band. Also, one of their big singles is about the issue of abuse in the Catholic Church, so good on them for touching on important issues. Our next band is also from Santiago, Chile. I swear I do sometimes talk about non-Santiagoan Chilean bands, but none are on this list. Ultra Stigma. I'm, again, cheating a bit with this band because they basically have co-lead singers and the other is a guy, but the female singer is prominent enough to count. This is one of the older bands on this list, as far as the ones that are still around, having started in 2007. Aside from the typical spooky punky death rock sound, they have some occasional experimental instrumentation. I do believe that is achieved by a keyboard, but it is interesting all the same. Our final stop in Chile is with a band that no longer exists, Causa de Muerte. The majority of their song titles were actually in English, which I find interesting, even though the majority of their lyrics were in Spanish. They had a lot of fast-paced, paranoid-feeling music. Lead singer Silk Furious is still a DJ, in case you want to follow her. Our next stop is in Argentina with Hurlingham-based band The Terror. Lead singer Mariana Gutierrez's voice is definitely on the deeper side and hits those punky notes well. This is another band that likes to experiment with sound and genre, sometimes leaning into dark wave, a subgenre, often thought of as the anti-Deathrock, but it works here as well as some of the other bands, so that I'm starting to think we have a new subgenre, a sub-subgenre like death wave. Actually, that's already a thing. Death rock wave? Next, we go to Colombia with Manizales-based band Bruma. With the lo-fi effects and something in lead singer and synthesist Sarah Chavez's voice, I'm reminded a lot of Venezuelan 1980s post-punk band Psh Psh that we talked about before. This definitely has a retro feel to it, and to truly get that retro feel, I recommend you purchase their so-far-only album, Cada Dia Es Más Gris, on cassette, available by Colombian label Discos Maraña. Following that is another stop in Bogota with Oculta. You know they mean serious business because their band name is spelled with a K instead of a C and a V instead of a U. Even death rockers can be true cult. Lyrically and visually, there are a lot of mystical and occult references. Bonus! I discovered this band because of the inclusion of their song Nocturna on the Altar of Shadows compilation by Psychic Records, made to benefit the Trans Lifeline. So yay, we love a band with good social opinions. 2 other bands on this list were also included on that compilation, that being the aforementioned Delirium Mask, and our next band, that being... Desencarnats, another Bogota-based band. Speaking of compilation albums and good opinions, they also have a song included on the Deathrock Scaramony, which benefits the Gaza Soup Kitchen. I mention these compilation albums because this band has been around for a few years, but only came out with their first official solo release, Saudade, last year. And also, I mentioned that not only is the lead singer a lady, but so is the drummer, which is important here, especially because the drums really are the primary driving instrument in this particular band. Our final stop in Colombia is with a band that no longer exists, that being Agujas from Bogota. Their self-titled release from 2021, also their only release, was short but impactful, being equal parts dissonance and anger. Our next stop is in Costa Rica with a band that I have talked about before, Dist. It is not only female-fronted, but all-female. This is another genre-eclectic band, as they have the spooky, punky feel that one associates with death rock, but also a slight difference that leans a bit more into Batcave territory and even some occasional new wave-ish vibes. Lead singer Nicole Roman is definitely quite characterful and expressive. Our next and final band, also Costa Rican and also a band whose work I've discussed before, is San Jose-based act Angustia Espiritual. There has been an interesting evolution between their releases, from a more dissonant, mysterious sound to a more pointed, almost old-school rock and roll influence that no one else seems to agree except for me, into a more chaotic punk feel. All of these captured well by vocalist Amanda. Those are all the bands that I know of that are female-fronted death rock acts from Latin America. If you know of any other qualifying bands that I have missed, please tell me in a comment below. If you want to listen to these bands or follow them on social media, YouTube YouTube does not allow me to put quite that many links, so I put a post on my Tumblr that's connected to this YouTube channel where I have all of their Bandcamp pages and social media accounts that I know of included. If you want to follow me elsewhere on social media, my link tree is in the description as well. Until next time, bye now.